Hello, you Germans.
Pump up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping, and the jam is pumping. Look at the.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Pump Up the Jam, the unofficial podcast of Maldon Tiptee. I am still Lee Witney, and joining us as always, we're just normal men, Alan Taylor, and we're just innocent men, Richard Buckby. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
Oh, that makes it out like we've got something to hide, Lee. I don't know why you do this.
No, I'm very well, mate. Thank you. Very well. I'm hot. I'm a bit bothered, but it's almost the weekend, so yeah, all good. Thank you.
Lovely stuff. And we're on our best behaviour tonight because we have got former Mayor of Maldon, Mr. Andrew Lay is with us. Andrew, how are you? Thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys. Thanks for inviting me. It's a very, very warm day today, and thanks for inviting us along to your podcast. Wonderful. It's a great podcast.
Oh, thank you very much. You're putting your reputation on the line, I fear, by.
Yeah, I'm just reading off the script that earns me the money. That's all. It is.
Nothing too style. Nothing too controversial, we hope, tonight.
No. Of course.
So just to kick us off, just give us just tell us sort of how you became involved with the club from a fan point of view. How did you sort of get following Maldon and Tiptree?
From the start, when I went to see them for the first games, or
yeah. Sort of what prompted you to first make the visit down to Park Drive?
Moving here, I moved here in '99, so a long time ago, when it was just Maldon town. So I moved here from London. I lived in Tottenham. I moved here with my wife, and we came to Maldon town. I know there's some smiling faces already about last night, but no, Tottenham. My wife is very happy, as she was a season ticket holder at Woolwich for a long, long time. So
Woolwich,
Nice.
or Dial Square, as they're known. Yeah, we moved here, bought a house, and at the end of the road, conveniently or nearby, was a football club. So I started going along to that weekends. At that time, I was working in London and working in various parts of Europe and different parts of the world from time to time. So it was a nice relaxation to go over there. It's great coming from the supporting teams or going to team matches. I used to go to football in the 70s, 80s, 90s. So different teams, different grounds, different eras. It was a different time for supporting football. To come over there to a place where it's relaxed, where you could buy a beer, walk to the side of the pitch, was something obviously that was a little bit different. And it was a great game. I remember the first game was in sort of September, October '99, and I just remember the kit was very distinctive with those blue and white hoops. Only seen that on QPR and other teams. So and the ground was so different. It was so friendly. Not a lot of people there, but it was a really friendly club, and I enjoyed off and on going back to see them. So it was lovely to see the new different towns around Essex playing there, and it was something different. You knew something to enjoy. You were actually enjoying football, because football at that time was starting to become more of a journey. My wife had a season ticket for a little period of time still at Arsenal, and it was the time to get to the stadium, moving kickoffs, cost of travel, all the things that have accelerated over the years had started to happen. So if she was going to see a game from here at Highbury, it was taking 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours at least with travel, and certainly it was losing a Sunday, for example, if there was a kickoff. So that's when I started going over to the ground, and started from that time onwards sporadically. We had children, and that intervened obviously with going to the game, but obviously went backwards and forwards with it over the years.
So Andrew, you've obviously been involved slightly longer than I have, only just. But I mean, how have you seen the club, I suppose, evolve around the town of Maldon in that time? And obviously, we'll catch on later in the episode in the modern era. But how have you seen it evolved from '99. I think you touched on there wasn't many people around back then, and I suppose did the stadium up until maybe the last 6 months still have the similar feel to it, or?
Yeah, similar. I think that, I remember coming back and that the stadium being put at the side of the pitch as you come in the entrance. That wasn't there when I first went. There was just there was only the stand, I think, at the far side and maybe one at the side. And then obviously I remember the conifer tree end. Who can forget the conifer tree end, protecting you from the rain when the heavens opened, or the wind or whatever, and stopping the balls going into the top pitch. So the ground changed in its dynamic, but it's kept its character, I think, a little bit. That beauty, the fact that it's by the side of the river and it has that lovely grass bank on the other side is a fantastic ground and should be kept, I think. It's very important. And then obviously the people, it was lovely to meet different people from different backgrounds of the town at that time, because I was not here all the time and didn't work in the town. It was lovely to meet different people and chat to them before the game or have a beer afterwards with them. So it was just really enjoyable.
Yeah, and I suppose how much do you feel the town back then and maybe even now has a role to play in the community? And we will touch on the community aspect in terms of your involvement, but just how big of a thing has that become, or has it always been that way, I guess?
From what I can see, and obviously, and some of the programs and some of the things, the documents that you see, press articles and things, you can see that initially when it moved from Fanbridge Road, from what is now the Wallace Binder Close to here, it was a social club as well. It was part of the community. It was, dinner and dances. It was wedding receptions. It was health centres. It was a place you took your kids for tumble tots. It was a part of the community, and it wasn't just a football club. And certainly that was very welcomed by the community. The amount of people I've met who have said, "Oh yeah, we had our reception there. Oh, our daughter had our 18th there, 21st." It was a social space as well as a football club, purely a football club. And I think that was what it is now. And the club has obviously moved several times over its history in different iterations and different places around the town. So football has always been a part of Maldon, I think, and it's very important to the community that it remains part of it too.
Yeah, and I suppose before I pass over to one of the others, from your political eye, if we may, as still being a local councillor, how much of an impact do you think it can have on that social value and sort of bringing a bit of success to the town that that is enriched in history and hopefully adding a little bit more to it, I guess?
It's a success to the town. What it does is draw people into the town. When you're having 80, 100 people come, and it's a hard work, the actual impact on a wider community is smaller. Now for example, using the example of us now, the impact of us having 400 or 500 people per game is those businesses around the town. People will stay a bit longer, go to the park in the park, use the local businesses, local restaurants, local bars, and may even go into the town and buy things because it's such a different place. The impact of moving people, and as we get bigger, is really key to the town. Their spend as tourists will be important to the town, and people don't realise that impact, that so sometimes, or appreciate as much the impact of that tourism and that value to the town. So it is really important. It has a wider implication, and when it's success, as well as the events that are coming up, the things that are being publicised by the town, it's really hits a wider number of people. It's not just narrow into the silo of just football fans, which are valuable, of course, they're the lifeblood of any club and key, but it's also that wider impact. Everyone goes to vote there. Everyone votes in that place. It's used as that type of thing. It also has those sort of health implications that we're now seeing, that the NHS and other places want to use that venue. So it's an important space, an important venue for the town. And in Maldon East, it's important what that does to that particular area of the town.
Lovely, Andrew. Let's move on from your time as a fan, and now you've actually got an official role at the club. So if you wouldn't mind just talking us through that role and what you do.
It's a real tongue twister. It's the Director of Community Engagement and Funding Support. So community engagement is about those connections into the community in the wider aspect, and also how the club can fit into that. So it's not a business being run, it's a wider impact as a community hub. So we have one of the things we've done is obviously we've got a charity for this year that we're connected to. We got a lot of charities approach us as a club, and I'm involved in that. We selected Home Start Essex for this year. They're going to be a charity for this year, and when they're not there, other charities will step in. But the focus is on local charities and raising funds and appreciating what's going on in our town and around us, and certainly the community aspect. As we know, there's pressures on funding for these charities. They can't raise funds as easily. As we all know, that everything now costs. There's no grants or money coming freely to these places. Home Start just had their grants cut by Essex County Council. So they help single parent families, people that are struggling, people with terminal illness who have got young families. They are very worthy charity, helping a lot of people that goes, even if it's just a couple of hours, it's helping people within the community. So that's one aspect, is that and helping the other charities with things like prizes for draws. We've helped a number of charities with prizes to help them raise funds. We also did a day when we had made a welcome for Ukrainian refugees that are part of our county, that are part of what we have happened to make them feel welcome. And some of those families have never met any other person because of the disparate nature of Essex. They're not next to each other in certain areas, so it was good for those children mainly and people, displaced mothers and grandparents, to meet each other and talk about how they're surviving and what they can do to help each other. So that was really good and important. So we're doing that sort of charity work, and obviously then connecting into local schools and other organisations within the town and wider community. That's the community part. Now, I'll take a breath. On to the funding side of things, which obviously is helping with funding for negotiating the way to get funds to help develop some of the projects or upgrading some of the facilities in what we have now as a ground. With an ambition, obviously, we have to be at to get to national level, and to first step of the Football League. You have criteria you have to meet in grounds to do that, and surprisingly, they don't come for free. So you don't get a little Brucey bonus every time you go up. So it's about understanding how we can do that, understanding what it will cost, what we need to attain. It would be frustrating to have a season as we anticipate, like to this year or next year, and then get to that point 2 games before the end of the season. Oh, sorry, it doesn't matter anyway because you can't come up because you haven't got
in there with COVID
seats.
To be fair. So
yeah, we've been there with that, but we don't want that again. COVID is COVID. We couldn't plan for that.
Yeah.
This, we know. You know what the rules are. If you want to come in the club, this is what you've got to have. So we know we've got to do those and start working now for that ambition, I think. And I think with Barry and Scott and the guys, that's what they're looking to do, is to achieve those things, but also to be aware and plan for what we're looking to do. We can't just get there and just be surprised that we don't get promoted, because the enthusiasm, the numbers, the impact on the community is huge in what we do. So that funding needs different areas we can look at, and we're working on different areas. And some of it will help from the FA, some of the things like the Football Foundation and things like that. We will look at funding and see where we can get grants, but also to structure it into supporting the other things that the club has ambitions in. Like it's, obviously you've seen from the presentations, the centre that will look at BTECs and other qualifications. So we become something, again, wider in the community. Once you start working with schools and you show your value, you show what you're actually going to do, big sort of management words that you use, showing your value, but it's about showing the value to the community. If we can help develop young people, bring people on, get them qualifications, it's absolutely amazing, and should be something that we should do, I think. So that's part of the two parts of the club, of my job. So yeah, does that help a little bit? Perhaps still not.
So what do you do after lunch?
If only. The thing is, it's just understanding new organisations. I worked in the private sector in finance, and I've worked in government, understanding government procedures and things. But this is the FA and is very different in the way that they work, and it's getting used to the rules and understanding them and how we can achieve what we want to do as a club.
And you're probably the best person to answer this. There's no pressure, but obviously in your current role at the club, in your previous role, sort of as a mayor and also councillor, have you noticed a tone in change of people with how the club is perceived in the wider community since the takeover? Well,
obviously, as you were an avid reader of my Facebook page as the town mayor, my plight of the past 2 or 3 years, watching every game for the past 2 or 3 years, yes, there has been a tone. But what it did by actually doing not silly, but small things like when I went to the game, putting up the results, saying what was happening, and it showed an awareness. So people started to ask questions about the club and how is it going and what was it like, and certainly I think it's an important part of the town that gets a little bit overlooked, as most of our sports areas do, like rugby, like the cricket, like the cycling clubs, like the swimming or the sailing side of things. They're a really key part of the town. There has definitely been an uptick. That's a nice management word. An uptick in interest and people who want to be involved and engaged in the club, or say things like, "Oh, I used to play for them," or "I was once here," or "Oh yeah, my dad used to take me to those games all the time. I'll have to come down and see it." But you can generally feel there's a change of acceptance, acknowledgement, wanting to be involved, and you started to see that at the start of this season with the people turning up. There are people I know who got, because we did, and the leaflets the Jammers did, the guys dropped, absolutely brilliant in getting people who've not been before with their families coming along to these games. And what you're doing there is planting the seeds for that to happen and develop as your club grows, if we're looking to grow the club. So very, very important.
I suppose as a fan, Andrew, first and foremost, your role sounds like a bit of a privilege, perhaps, than a job, if I may say so myself. I mean, how exciting is it for you as a fan, first and foremost, to be involved with such a once in a lifetime opportunity, maybe, because the club is probably never going to go through this again, and just how exciting is this time, I guess, from your perspective? Yeah,
I do feel privileged for this. Yeah. It's different. I never thought I'd be mayor, and I never thought this would happen. It's sort of like a CV in reverse from when I left school. So yeah, it's I am privileged about this time because it could go anywhere. Football is football, and there's different things. It is a great opportunity. I'm lucky to have that opportunity. I know that, to do this, and I'm really enjoying doing it. Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
Just I suppose, how, as a fan, first and foremost, how exciting is it to be involved, I guess?
Massively, because you can see it, and you can see perhaps up close and privileged to do that, the growth in the people that are working there and the commitment to what they're doing. And you can see it if you've been in work in different situations, which all you guys have been. When a team's going well at work, or a section or a group of workers together, you can see that, that. And when it's not working, you see that too. That you can see the positive attitude that's coming through with the groups of people that are working internally, the development of the venue, the upgrading of our venue, the hard work that people put in to achieve the best results for the people visiting. All from top to bottom, it's a different attitude, and it definitely is more. You can see, although just slightly from the outside, the way that the players interact with each other. Not that they're there for at the time very much. I see them, but there just seems a genuine will to achieve what they want to achieve, and collectively, no cliques, no separation. It's just as a collective, as a team. It's quite. We can see by the results already what that potentially could be. For all the faith in them to do that for the whole season. We know in football things go up and down. Things happen. You can play brilliantly and lose 1-0 away from home. Those are very frustrating. But then you can go to Brantford, be pegged back, and then win. Those are the important things. The important things, and not to take it for granted, not to get too ahead of ourselves. But yes, it is a privilege, an absolute privilege, and it is exciting.
Yeah, I think most of us still walk in the ground at the minute and just can't really believe our luck, can we? Certainly.
But it looks, it's silly, it's small things, but important things. It looks presentable when you walk up to it. It looks like a football ground. You can see it's a football ground. And the people are friendly and people will help you, and it's got that nice thing about it.
And you've kind of touched on some of the changes, aesthetically at least anyway, and the owners. What's it like with having a front row seat and seeing how Barry, Scott, and the whole team, the whole DBO team have been and worked, and also the changes that have taken place around the stadium?
I think I'm not going to comment too much. Those guys, them, you see them. That's them. That is them. They're very open, very honest, very committed to what they're doing, and they just brought such a lot of, love and drive for that. Love and drive for that, what they want to do, and their obviously connections to the town and how they want to build that community, and to actually develop what clearly was an asset to the town that had been hidden away in the corner of East Maldon. And it shouldn't be that. And it had potential. I think we all know that club had potential as to what it wanted to do. So, yes, it's very, very interesting. But you can see that how much they care about what they're doing.
Yeah, I'd second that, and having the pleasure of working and dealing with Barry quite closely, I find the passion is infectious, for want of a better phrase, I suppose. But Andrew, I suppose if there's anyone listening to this, and there may or may not be, that hasn't been before or is a bit sceptical about coming down, I suppose what would your message be to corners of the community that haven't been before and maybe are thinking about coming but haven't really done it yet, I guess?
I would say come down. Definitely come down. And if you don't want to come down, why not try coming? What is great is that we've got things that are coming into the town, into the club, like the women's football, like the under-18s football, and those are free. So we appreciate it's tough times. Maldon East is one of the toughest areas in our district, one of the most struggling areas, and so there are people who are struggling, and then you look at the wider community, the number of charities, food banks, things that are happening in the town, the stuff that you guys raise as jammers, all this fund for food bank is greatly appreciated. But there are options to come and see. They're looking to everyone to be a participant in this club. So free games on the Sunday. I hope the women's fixtures will be published. The under-18s are doing really well, and they're free games, and they're good games of football. We're seeing good football being played on a pitch in the town, and as well, just come and enjoy yourself. If you're free on a Saturday, bring your family, bring your children. Obviously, there's discounts, or they come in for free, and it's just just try it once and see how you get on.
I'd totally second that, Andrew. Like, just bring your family, bring anyone you can down, especially on like midweeks and Sundays when the women are playing and the under-18s. Me and Lee go constantly to the women's games, and it's a good day out, good football, and it's good social. We've had 200 people there, both home games, so get down there.
Yeah, it is. what that does is you can't afford. We live in times you don't want to push it with people, where people are struggling. So therefore, things are getting more expensive, and it's good to have that part of the community where people can come and enjoy a game of football or do something like that and be appreciated.
So, around that, what are your hopes for this season, just as a community and a club as a whole and beyond?
I think that's quite a big question with the community. Yeah, for the community and the connection to Maldon Tiptee, I would say that I would like to see it more engaged. I'd like to see us pushing 800 people there by the end of the season. I think for home games, I think that's achievable. We've got a town that's growing, was last censored in 21, and that was about 17,000 people. You know, from the houses that are built and people that are there, we're probably going to be looking at near 20,000 people. We should be getting a good crowd in there, in what we're doing. The opportunities are there for us as a club to grow. The connections with the communities to become and develop more of the things that need community support, like the groups of providing spaces, warm spaces during the winter, providing places where people can go, and where groups who have never thought about it might want to get together or to do things. It's that being open to everything, I think, is the important thing. I think certainly developing ourselves as a club that goes from top to bottom, all ages, is really important. That connection with our youth is really important. And certainly building what we're doing, we can see it, but it's starting to get more publicity around the town, not just the other stuff, but around the town. There are spaces and places that don't know about us yet, and businesses should want to get involved with what we're doing. It's really important that we cover everybody. And make sure that everyone can do that in the club.
Yeah, I suppose on the point of business, Andrew, obviously, we've touched on how long you've been supporting the club, and I think Alan and I probably go back to 2003, sort of 2005 era. We would have seen for a number of years that round the pitch size, and I don't take much credit for this, but there has never been many advertising boards around that pitch. How impressed have you been by the local businesses, some of which you refer to there, that have really, no pun intended, come on board and got behind the club?
I think absolutely, and of course it's all down to you, Mr. Buckby.
It's not all me, by the way.
Only
It's a team
reason
effort.
mentioned it, isn't it?
Yeah, I can see that. Easing these guys out. No, you've done a fantastic job with that, Richard. But it was there. That's the thing. These people were all there, but it was taking the right opportunity to people to speak to them, and also that they want to be involved with something that has a vision, that has a drive of where it wants to be. If you're asking people and businesses to donate money as to where things go, they want to see what they getting, what they're investing in. What if it's you, or if it's a business, what do you actually want to do? So it's about communicating that vision of where you want to go as a club, as a business, as a person, if they're investing in you. So I think you can see that the town wants to do that. The town has tough times in the high street. It is, we see with the loss of banks, with the loss of things that are in there are businesses there. The high street is a tough place, but it's important we keep it. It's important we support the local businesses. So if the businesses put a board in the club, for example, it's important that they get the benefit of that back to their business, that they're shown off, that they're advertising, and that they are valued. They are valued in what they do. So we've got some great people, obviously, put boards and things around there. So it's really, really good. I'm really impressed with that. It's one of the things when you're taking people in, or sometimes you have to give tours to people around there who are visiting, or people who come to do some work in the club, and you just show that pitch, and you say to them, there's actually nothing there before, nothing really, apart from one or two that have fallen off or whatever. But it was not it. Now look at it. It's just it looks vibrant. It looks like a place where people want to be. The guys that work there and do there's a group of the guys who actually do the building of everything and the dressing rooms, and if you see all the work in there, absolutely amazing. very skilled people, led by Scott. So yeah, very, very good.
I suppose
Yeah,
one of the things
we're lucky. We're lucky to have that, because if you had to ask a firm outside, that would be a lot of money to spend on what the work.
He is a workhorse as well, Scott, isn't he?
Absolutely amazing, and he scores a great penalty.
we had to get that bit in. I suppose, Andrew, before Lee tells me off for asking too many
that's on the
questions.
script.
No.
Yeah, and then I will hand back to Liam before I probably take up too much of your evening. But you mentioned some of the work there that's been done, and there has been a conscious effort to make the facilities accessible to everyone. You know, in particular the disabled. You know, opening up the club to people that may not have been able to come before. How important do you think that is? And I think lots of people talk about it as being important, but not many people, from what I've seen in football in particular, actually go about to do it.
No, it's critical. They're part of your community. You can't have a community club and exclude people. You try and incorporate everything to do that, and that's why it was really key. I think that area particularly is important, because obviously we had the fencing from the 1990s. That fencing, you can't see through it. You can get some fencings now, I think, where you can see through it, but it's important that people are able to view it, and it's been well received, and I think it was long overdue. Yeah,
Brilliant, thank you.
No, it's really good.
Is your Inquisition finished, Richard?
It has, I think. Yeah, for now.
Yeah.
Lovely. Andrew, thank you so much for your time. We've not said anything too incriminating, I don't think, and Richard wore a smart shirt, so it's been a success all round.
Oh, no, thank you. I thought it looked very, very smart indeed. It's very impressive. So, no,
well, I always say, Andrew, whenever you're around, I feel like I have to stand up a bit taller, correct my posture, and be well behaved. So here I am.
2 out of 3 is not bad.
Yeah, but we still have to pick up on the announcer who gives the wrong time of the goal. That's the thing.
2 games in a row, I have, you know.
It's more the person who threw him under the bus. At will.
If it hadn't been Andrew, it would have been one of us. Don't worry.
No. As a politician, that's my job to do that. I'm sure it's not me. That's the important thing.
You've perfected it.
No, it's been a pleasure, guys. Obviously, thank you for inviting me onto this. Really, really enjoyed it. Great to talk about the club. Hope you understand a little bit more about that very long title job I have now, while still continuing to do the councillor work. But it does take a lot. It's great to do that. Absolutely amazing and a privilege to do it. But there's a lot of work to do and a lot more to come. So I think we're starting our journey, I think, with this thing. Long may it continue.
Brilliant.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, then. Thanks
Cheers,
very much.
Andrew. Take care.
Cheers.
Have a good night. Take care. There we go. Mr. Mayor.
You
really
can't call him that anymore. He's not the mayor.
Mr.
He'll always be mayor to us, but he's not the
exactly. Maybe it's like the presidents, where they're still referred to as Mr. President, even after they're not in office.
Why not? Yeah.
We can get that going.
So you can call him Mr. Councillor.
Mr. Councillor. That works.
Doesn't sound quite as grand, but really interesting to get his perspective on things, because he can come at it from 3 angles, can't he? As a fan, as you know, a mayor and a figurehead, and then also a councillor now, and then I guess as an actual employee of the club.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think he's probably he won't mind me saying it, but I think, you know, he's probably one of the unsung heroes really that we don't hear about. You know, probably a lot of Andrew's work goes a little bit unseen, you know, behind the scenes, working with charities, and, you know, and to be fair, you know, he's normally one of the first faces you see when you turn up at the turnstiles and around the ground and or in the bar. And yeah, you know, probably a lot of his work goes unsung, and I think that's one of the great things about hopefully, you know, having him on here, allowing the 2 people a week that listen, it's more than that, by the way, to understand what he does for the club, and, you know, how his hard work fits into the bigger picture, and, you know, how Barry's supporting other things and Scott, as well as just the football and, you know, the various teams we've got. So yeah, brilliant to hear his side of the fence, as it were.
I think like his job role kind of definitely in lines with the way the JFA like function, the charity work, making the club a better place, and it's things that we've wanted to have him at club for so long. But to
Mm.
have someone in place and to have someone in place like Andrew, I think we're quite fortunate.
Yeah, massively. Yeah, when I heard he'd been appointed in the role that he's in, I've said it for a while. Barry and Scott seem to hit the nail on the head with every appointment they do, whether it's Kevin, Jody, Liam, whoever it is. And Andrew's no different to that. Andrew is, as you said, Lee, three corners of the community, if not more, from his political side. He's obviously got business brain as well, from his career and what he's done over the years. So, yeah, he brings a number of attributes which I'm sure Barry and Scott have seen, and obviously they've given him the role. And it feels like he just connects it all together in that social value side that perhaps we don't see as much as we perhaps could.
Yeah, and even though he did throw me under the bus for getting the golden goal time wrong, he's a lovely fella as well.
He is a great guy, but to be fair, game's game. You did get it wrong 2 weeks in a row. First week you stopped your stopwatch. I mean, you've been watching football for 45 years. The referee doesn't stop his stopwatch, Lee, but you did. And then, second week, I mean, whether it was you or someone else that got it wrong, I think we got it wrong 3 times because I think the actual minute was not the one we went out on. But hey,
Wasn't
what it is.
Not my fault, that one. Not my fault.
Even if it wasn't, I'm saying it was.
My fault. But anyway, talking of games.
Football? Should we talk about football?
I was going to say, talking of games, there's a lot of them to rattle through. So we'll just try and skim over them as quick as we can. And unfortunately, Rich, we have to give you some credit, don't we? Because
we do.
Buckhurst Hill.
I wonder what you were going to say then.
You said on this very esteemed podcast that if we score early, we'll win 5-0.
I did. And sure enough,
we won 5-0.
I also bought a lottery ticket that night. It wasn't quite as successful. But yeah, we did. And I think, in no disrespect, quote, last podcast, we could have won 8-9-0, I think. The boys were immense. If anyone thought that was a banana skin like we had last year, then how wrong will they potentially? Because the boys were fantastic from the first minute until more or less the last. So yeah, what a good way to start a season.
Yeah.
So thanks for the credit as well. I was surprised you mentioned it. To be fair, I didn't think you would, but fair play.
I'm a magnanimous guy. I couldn't brush it under the carpet. So.
All right.
Well done, Lee.
I had other descriptive words of which I will not share.
So after we 5-1 Redbridge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
5-1 Maldon, I should say, against Redbridge.
Yeah. We watched a very different game. So come on, Al, talk us through it.
I haven't got anything in front of me, so I can't really remember. I think I missed like 2 or 3 of the goals because I was preoccupied. But yeah, it was a pretty good game. I think it's what we needed to kickstart the season. A 5-1 win, a statement. A statement was made, I think.
Yeah, and that half an hour was some of the best football I've seen in years down there. Probably since the team of 1920. Not the year 1920. Not the year 1920. Season 1920.
You opened yourself right up for that.
I'll clarify.
Thanks. Yeah, you needed to. That opening half an hour against Redbridge was fantastic. And I think it's always hard on the opening day of the season. You never really know what Redbridge are going to be about. But the following Monday, they went and won, was it 4-2 with 10 men against Grays? 3. So I think that puts that performance at home against Redbridge into a bit of context. Maybe it says less about Grays than it should, but I think Redbridge were stunned for a good 35, 40 minutes. I don't think they got a kick out of their own half for that time. And I think that was when I really stepped back and thought, wow, what has Kevin built? Because throughout pre-season, it would be easy to step back and say, hang on a minute, I think we scored less than 5 goals. We conceded a couple. Canvey Island, we couldn't put the ball away. And there was probably a few fans that were thinking, has Freddie Steers still got it? Is he going to play every week? Can he play Saturday, Tuesday? He's over it, I mean, if there were any doubters, I don't think they're very
yes, he
loud
can.
anymore.
No, he's not.
Exactly. So, and there probably were a few murmurs, but how to deal with a target on your back, I suppose, as Kevin likes to say. But yeah, fantastic. Yeah, obviously, the only downside was the injury to Hoops, and we all wish him well. And hopefully there'll be a speedy recovery. Obviously, we don't quite know what he's done yet, but it looked pretty innocuous at the time, and it changed the mood, I think, around the ground at the time, and it was it wasn't a good moment. But I think Redbridge in a way were quite grateful, because I think it switched the dynamic of the game, and they came into it a bit more post that moment. So, but yeah, hope Gary's well, and obviously we all wish him a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I think without that injury, it could have been 6 or 7 at half time, the way we were going.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think similarly to Freddie, could Gary still do it? Can he still do it? I think the saddest thing about him going off injured was that he was playing so well. He scored the 2 the week before. He was fantastic in the first half hour against Redbridge, and that made it all the more sad, I think, because we were, to see him go off after getting himself in such good shape over the summer. He says the body of an athlete. I think it's made it even sadder. But hopefully, touch wood, miracles happen, and hopefully we see him back soon. But we'll have to wait and see.
Alan, Sunday, the women's team away to see Leighton. First away day, first draw as well.
First draw, first away day. We kicked off 15 minutes late because the referee wasn't there for some strange reason. But it was a good but tough game for the women. Leighton got quite physical towards the end. I think it was a case if they couldn't beat us, they might beat us.
Yeah, they were a tall team, weren't they? If you've seen it, they were a really tall team.
Me and you were talking about their centre midfielder, who was Rich, unbelievable.
Really?
All 6'1" of her. She was just, her first touch was on point. Everything was going through her.
Seemed to have so much space as well. Or not space, time. The way she just slowed everything down and just made the right decision, picked the right pass, but then could play just a killer ball through for an attack. She was good, and we obviously conceded early and did really well to sort of steady the ship and get back into it as well.
Yeah, then I think our play towards the end of the second half, like towards full time, our fitness started to show that they've been working hard on. They were high pressing, winning the ball. And that's when the few niggly little tackles come out from Leighton. But it was a solid draw, and on to next game when hopefully ever it is.
Yeah, obviously I couldn't make the game Sunday, but I looked at some of the photos and I thought it was great to see that Joe Biden was present.
Goose and Maverick.
And if you weren't sure what I'm referring to, for the record, Joe Biden wasn't actually watching, unfortunately, but his double act, Lee Witney, was. And Lee, you gave yourself that name, so I take no credit for the resemblance. But now you've said it, you do look like an older version of Joe Biden.
But whilst we're still on the women, I think we go through. We've made 5 signings and announced 5 signings since the last pod. So we had the goalkeeper, Sophie Drake, signed Taylor Bland.
Sophia Drake.
What's that?
Not to be confused with Sophia Drake.
Yes, Sophia Drake. That was not my fault. Taylor Bland, defence or midfield. Amy Jacobs signed, Rihanna Everett, and today Holly Moore. So,
is there any more?
That team.
More.
There may be 1 or 2 more going in. I'm ignoring you for that, Rich. To be honest, mate. There should be a couple more signing now, I reckon, Jodie. But things are shaping up nicely.
They've released their fixtures now as well, right? The league fixtures have come out.
We start Whitelindsea on the 7th of September.
Exactly.
And I was looking right, so their season finishes in September. Is that right? In February.
February at the moment. That will all depend on cup games, I reckon, because every week they've got a game. But if they've got a cup game, I suppose it will knock it out and push it back
as well.
And am I right in thinking that the teams that are now in that league weren't in the league when the league was announced? There's been some changes as well. I saw somewhere. There's been another restructure since the league's AGM or something.
A restructure, but I think there might be another restructure because I think another team might have dropped out, but I don't think it's been confirmed.
Yeah, Lawford and Evolution have dropped out.
Right.
And
obviously scared of the Jammers, are they?
Yeah.
Don't blame them.
We'll go with that.
I'm sure Jodie would love me for that. We're probably paying too much money. Okay, so 7th of September. And where do the Tigers ladies play then? Which is the 14th. I'm not in the country for that. But
do not know. I tell you,
bear knowledgeable, Lee.
Keep it rolling. Just keep it rolling. It'll be fine.
You down Market Hill.
Sorry?
Just like you down Market Hill. Keep it rolling.
Wow, that is brave.
But fair. So, okay, so 4 games September then, and then 4 games in October, 5 in November. Wow, okay. So
they play at the Britain's Academy.
That narrows it down to the 3 countries, I think.
Any chance?
Any chance?
Hello?
Yeah. Don't run to the corner flag, Jerome. Never mind, Lee.
I think you're looking at Raynham.
Okay. Somewhere you won't drive to then. So after Sunday was Tuesday. A more or less local home game for you, Lee, and a fun bus away day for us out.
It was a very good fun bus day away. Thank you to the club for letting us use it, first of all.
Agree. Yeah.
Thank you to Scott for driving it. It was an enjoyable journey. Before we talk to the game, how good was it seeing Paul Abrams?
Yeah, good to see Paul.
Doesn't he look fantastic as well?
Yeah, how old do you think he is, Lee?
I'll tell you what, he's aging better than I am, that's for sure.
Well, he's got hair for starters.
But he looks like he's just come off a yacht on the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was born in 73. So I can't do maths, but yeah, he did look good. And nice to see he was there with his family as well. And if I've got this right, I'm sure he's connected to Jack Corley in some way. I want to say godfather. Abe's is the godfather anyway, but I think he might be Jack Corley's godfather, I think. Pretty sure I've got that right. If not, someone will correct me, but yeah. So maybe we'll see a bit more of him, who knows?
Can you superimpose his face onto Al Pacino?
I've seen your editing skills, Lee, so perhaps you should give it a go. 2 graphics that look quite identical.
Yeah. Are we talking about the game? People get cancelled?
They were safe graphics.
Yeah.
The game was good. My highlight, obviously, Searcy's hat-trick was brilliant, was how quiet their physio was after it went 3-2, having just got off his perch, giving it verbals, and 30 seconds later, no more, he was sat back on his perch.
It was brilliant, wasn't it?
It was good. It was good. But yeah, I thought Freddie was unreal, to be fair. You know, not just because he scored 3 goals, but I thought his movement, you know, his general play, you know, a bit of hold-up play. He didn't have a big guy holding the ball up alongside him. So, yeah, no, I thought it was good. And good character from the boys as well.
I don't always like to sound negative about the other team, but that scoreline didn't reflect on how much we dominated them 4-2. Yeah, I think in the first half could have been out the way by about 4 or 5. Yeah,
probably fair out to be honest. It's funny, not that I take credit again, but I did say, I think it might have even been to you, Lee, that their best player was number 20, and he was the guy that scored their equaliser that I thought was quite a good strike actually. Was it
the second equaliser?
The second equaliser, yeah.
Yeah, because he kind of cut in across, didn't he? But you say about us, you know, sort of dominating. I thought Brantham played quite well. They certainly had a game plan, and I think that's something we're going to have to get used to this season. There's going to be very few teams that, this is just me kind of hypothesizing. But there's going to be very few teams that try. I'm just going to keep going. There's going to be very few teams that try and play football. They're not going to come out because they know we've got the quality to pick them off and exploit, any space they leave. So I think the majority of teams this season are just going to come and sort of bank in and 4-4-2 or 4-5-1, 5-5-0 if you're Peter Taylor, and it's up to us to try and break them down.
That was Lee Witney.
He's had a great start to the season, by the way. No disrespect. I think you're right, Lee. Remarkably, what I didn't know until maybe a day ago is that up until 7-8 weeks ago, Grantham, from what I understand, didn't have a squad. Their manager had been taken by Sudbury. And
I think I saw their current manager on Twitter today.
Yeah, I think they've got a bag of balls, some bibs and some cones at that point. So when you look at, put it into context, what we had versus what they may have had, in terms of preparation, I think they can be quite pleased with how they performed. If it hadn't have been for the last 6 minutes, whatever it was, they'd have been walking away with a point. And I think when they equalised the second time, I think they thought they'd got it the way they celebrated. But you should never celebrate until Lee stops singing. So if you see what I did there. I would say I think they'll be all right this season from what I watched. They beat Walthamstow in the FA Cup, which is no mean feat. Comfortably, I think 4-1. I want to say. I think in the replay could be 4-0. So they're no mugs from what I could saw. The goalkeeper was young. He was quite good. I think he's on loan from Ipswich. He looks like he's got good potential there.
Unbelievable sort of Schmeichel star jump kind of save towards the end as well. When I think it was might have been 2-2 at that point.
Yeah, so they've got some real positive signs. And that's not going to be an easy place to go and pick up 3 points if they play like that every week. I'm sure maybe they put an extra 10% on the dial because they're playing us, maybe. But, fair play to them. I thought they were really good. But, for what they had and what they set up to do, fair play. They almost completed the Italian job.
Like I say, they obviously had a game plan. It's on us to figure that out. We just have to kind of accept it. But like I say, there's going to be teams that will just kind of sit in and try and frustrate us and nick something on the counter. But and obviously they drew with Stanway on the opening day, didn't they? And Stanway went and absolutely demolished Lowestoft on Tuesday night in their own backyard.
They certainly did.
So both of those sides look like it's early days, but they might be all right.
Yeah. And I suppose looking forwards then, today's Thursday, you'll be hearing this on Friday. And on Saturday, we go to Hadley. And if you know about Hadley, you know about Hadley. Hayley.
Who's Hayley?
Hadley. If you know about Hadley, you know about Hadley.
All I know is there's about 4 different places all called Hadley. So if you go to the wrong one, I don't blame you.
I'm just hoping the coach don't go to the wrong one. That's all I might be.
I'll try it one more time, Lee. If you know about Hadley, you know about Hadley. But what's your thoughts? I don't know much about them as a team, to be honest. I know a bit about their supporters, but I don't know much about them as a team. But what are we hoping for? Obviously to win, but thoughts?
Go on, Al.
All right, I'll go first, shall I? Much of the same, really. I think we know what our game plan's going to be. Going to be possession, just try to get and I think, are they similar league level as
Same
us?
step, I think. Yeah, I think they're step 4 as well.
Same but different.
Same but differently.
Because they got to buy in. They said they got to buy into the preliminary round because they didn't play in the extra prelim. So this is their first cup game. But we know weird things happen in the FA Cup. We've done it to others. People have done it to us. So you can never predict it, can you? The FA Cup.
Yeah, I think it's going to.
So I'm not going to do that.
Nah.
Oh, you're not feeling quite confident this week?
I don't know. 3-0.
Okay, we'll go with that. I'll be happy with that.
Thank you. But yeah, I think it's going to be a good day out regardless.
We got a full coach.
Got a full coach. Chafe on tour. Lee's going to have a full belly before he goes. Can go
We
for
are going
breakfast.
for breakfast. Those, if you do want to join us, we are going to the Washington Road Cafe. Proper Eggs and Beans, I think it's called. There, you'll know. We will be there for about 11:15 because Lee's got a haircut, I think, at 10:30. So we'll be there nice and early.
9:30.
9:30.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
be there at 10:25. And we're meeting at the ground at 12:15. If you do want a seat, I'm sorry, we don't have any space. So unlucky.
They should have got in early.
Yeah, first come, first serve and all that. Not even
Yeah.
got a seat for Bob the Hat.
Oh no.
He can have yours.
That's next to you.
Not again. Not again. And don't you call me Graham.
But yeah, it'll be like I don't know anything about them. But it will be a difficult game, I think.
I think they played 2-1-1, lost 1, I think, so far. But I'm sure that Mitch and Kevin, everyone else in between have been to watch them, so I'm sure they'll have a plan. And where do the ladies go next? Is there? I mean, when's the next game, Al? You'll be on top of it, social media man. But
there's not officially been announced yet. I think we're waiting for availability, so there might be a game on Sunday.
Okay, this at home this Sunday.
This is at home,
Okay.
and then I think next Sunday there is a game as well, and a Sunday
Are these
after
exclusives, Al?
possibly.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, Lee's just checking.
yeah, so
Check his
next
diary.
Sunday the 24th is at home to Sudbury Reserves. And then on the 31st is at home to Bowers and Pitsea Reserves. Yes, yeah.
And possibly a game this Sunday.
And then the potential game this Sunday is at home to East Thurrock, who are, I believe, Division 1. So there'll be one level below us, East Thurrock.
Yeah. Rich just looks confused.
No, I'm always confused, Al. I was reading my phone. I had a message come in, but I won't say what it was. Yeah, sorry. I'm back in the room.
Oh God.
All
All right.
Should
we leave it there?
Yeah,
You
we can leave it there.
It's like when you studied the Chinese menu.
He
knows
what do you mean? I'm having the Chinese tomorrow night, actually. It's in the diary. So, yeah, no, it's... yeah. Fingers crossed we can get a good cup run. If we do win on Saturday, the next FA Cup game is on the 30th of August. Draw to be released on Monday at 1 o'clock on the FA's website. So if we do win, and you're listening to this after we've beaten Hadley, the draw will be on Monday on the FA's website at 1 o'clock. It will probably crash at 1 o'clock, so try it about 1:10, and you'll probably get to see it because everyone rushes at once. So, yeah. Last thing for me, just to plug, is the Jammers Comedy Night on the 20th of September. If you haven't yet bought your tickets, don't worry, Lee's not a comedian. He's just the one that gets picked on in the crowd. And I didn't set it up last time, but I might do this time. £12.50 online if you buy the tickets in advance. 20th of September, please come buy your tickets, come support the event. It'll be a good night. The last one was more or less a setup.
Yeah, last time. Also, may I add, go and sponsor Mark and Mitchell Ribbett for their Brighton run.
Yeah, they're running the Brighton Marathon, I believe.
Just quickly, sorry, how was Mark on Wednesday morning? Because he seemed to be fairly jolly on Tuesday night, shall we say?
Lee, you didn't have an hour in the bus with him on the way home. We did. He's lucky he didn't get left in Colchester. But I think he did get up on Wednesday and go for a run. So and to the gym. So for 65, he's doing all right. I think he's 65. He looks it. I don't know.
I bet he looked it on Wednesday morning, hungover in the gym.
I'm not even commenting on you and Jim, but
no,
Rich
don't.
Buckby went over and said hello to him, but it wasn't him.
Yes. All right, Al, you done me once. You're not doing me twice. All right. Well, are we there, gents? Are we there?
Yeah,
I think we're done. I think we're just wasting people's time at this point.
I'm getting bored of Lee now.
Up the Jammers.
On
Up
that
the jam.
note, up the Jammers. See you at the cafe on Saturday morning.
Indeed.